This is going to be part 2 to my Promag magazine fix. I'm just going to try to go into a little bit more detail and make sure that I show everything this time around. So this time around I have 2 magazines to work on, and I have one I've previously worked on already. And just to show you what the goal is here, the one that I've actually worked on already has been expanded. Right there, that's what the finished product should look like versus the factory. So what you'll see here is after expanding that, it fits in, no effort required, into the magazine well, it locks up securely. Compared to one of these, that will not lock into place and continuously pops out. So just like before, we're going to be using a Dremel tool with a sanding bit on it, and we're going to be filing along the inside edge of this line, right here. We're going to try to expand that a little bit more. On some rifles it might be different, but for my particular example here, this is what you do. So the key to this is to go as slowly as possible and check it for fitment as often as you can to make sure that you don't go too far or too little. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Just one thing to remember here, we're just enlarging it, we are not making it any deeper. Try to go as slowly as you can and just open that edge up. And check it for fitment frequently. As you can see, it still does not fit. Just need to continue widening. Time to try again. Still not quite there. This may take several attempts to get it just right. Okay, and one other thing to note here is on this particular magazine, I had to open up the edge a little bit wider at the top than I did at the bottom. And in doing that, now locks up nice and tight. Now on to the next magazine. Okay, moving on to the second magazine. Once again, I'd like to remind you to go slowly and take your time. It's a lot easier to take off more than it is to have to put it back. Still not quite there. Almost there. Alright, just a little bit more and I think we got it. Alright, just a little bit more. Alright, so just a little bit more sanding here. We got a fine lockup finally. So I've done this to 5 magazines total, and so far I'm at 100% success rate on it. Might take a little bit of time to diagnose each individual one, but eventually they all work. It's definitely not the prettiest method for doing this, but it's been quite successful for me. As you can see, they all lock up. So how do these compare to factory for fit? They are as tight or tighter in the lockup here than the GI 40 rounder that I happen to have. Just as much movement and just as reliable.